The mid-90s was an amazing time to be a PC gamer. So many titles were coming out that it was almost hard to keep up. One of my first computers was a 4633SX that by any stretch of the imagination was not all powerful. While I no longer have that computer, I do have as another 46 in form of this HP Vectra. It features a DX66MHz processor, maybe the 46 processor people think of when they hear the word. Extremely typical for the era, it's something you might see in a business just as well as in a home. Specs include the aforementioned 66MHz DX processor, 16MB of RAM, a 50MB hard drive, CD-ROM drive, integrated 1MB video card, and in my case a Sound Blaster 16 Vibra sound card. This is about as middle of the pack as you could get, and I think a lot of us enjoyed or cut our teeth on a machine just like this. My particular machine needs some TLC and a good cleanup, but beyond that I don't have any plans on upgrading or enhancing it. I think it fits the machine to remain close to stock. This is actually the exact same model of computer my cousins had, so I have many fond memories of late evenings exploring that mid-90s library of games. But it got me thinking, what are some of my favorite games to play on a mid-range 46 just like this? Not the slowest, not the fastest. Some games I deeply enjoyed back in the day and that I keep coming back to. So here is that list. This is not a top list or in a ranked order, as I'll be sweating and worrying about that way too much. It's just a list of games I like. Some of these are likely better enjoyed on faster hardware as well, but I definitely played them on a 46 back in the day. Many I think are quite popular entries, but I want to be clear to limit the list from being 50 entries long, so I made some tough choices on what to include. If this video is popular, maybe I'll make a second entry as well with some more games I like, because this list could easily go on and on. So that's enough talking about it. Here's a list, in no particular order, of games I really enjoy and still enjoy playing on my 46. Captured directly from this very HP Vectra with its very noisy integrated video card. Enjoy. Sim Tower, released by Maxis in 1994, was the brainchild of developer Yuji Saito. Maxis thought it fit the sim style so well it was rebranded to blend in with their larger catalog. The game has you manage a tower in a great ant farm style cross-section showing all the busy workers and staff running around. I spent many hours trying to perfect my tower design, although I definitely was not clever enough to use the deeper functions such as elevator controls back then. A game that has that magical, just a little longer style of play, it's hard to get tired of this one. Elevator action! We have Windows 3.11, so that means we have the best of Windows Entertainment Pack, and that is Chip's Challenge. A simple yet addictive puzzle game I spent a lot of time on back when, and always have a fun time when I return to. Chip has to collect all the, well, chips, to progress between each level. Get it? Chip, okay. In between that you'll run into devious puzzles, sliding floors, and of course keys. This is the 90s, so if there's a puzzle game, there are keys. LucasArts was on a roll around this time, cranking out classic point-and-click adventure games over and over. With the success from games such as the Monkey Island series, they were able to keep at the forefront, continually enhancing their own formula. Classic titles such as Sam & Max Hit the Road paved the way for some of the finest pixel artistry from the DOS era. Game number 3 is Full Throttle, which follows biker gang leader Ben in uncovering a conspiracy involving minivans. A short but truly amazing game that deserves a regular playthrough.
Why? I don't know. I overheard them say something about an ambush up the road.
What else?
Nothing. Look, man, here are your keys, all right? Oh, someone did say something about killing you and making it look like an accident.
They didn't do too good of a job there. But why ambush the pole gents? I'd better get moving.
Westwood basically invented the RTS genre with Dune 2 a few years earlier, but they took their spiritual follow-up down the naturally evolved path. More units, tighter controls, a truly rocking soundtrack, and just delicious FMV sequences made for something that was completely new. I spent so much time playing through this one trying to maximize each level best I could. As a bonus, you had 2 complete campaigns on 2 separate CDs, giving you basically double the game. If you want to play this today, the remastered version is a solid pick, but back then this just blew me away. The pseudo-modern setting comes mostly from the devs being tired of creating sand tiles, so they invented a new universe instead. Polished, groundbreaking, and just fun. Point-and-click adventure games took the 90s by storm, and while Sierra and LucasArts were the top dogs into space, some lesser-known companies got in on the action too. Adventuresoft released Simon the Sorcerer in 1993, propelling the character to immediate recognition. A game that wears its British influences on its sleeves with Monty Python-esque jokes, overall with a humor and a hero that really isn't much of a hero, I loved, and still love every minute of it. Get the talkie version, prepared to be frustrated at the puzzles, but laugh at the densely packed humor. It was a riot back then, and it's still a riot today.
Sold the last one 5 minutes ago. I've got lots of other stuff though.
Sorry, I'm really not interested.
Who needs your custom anyway?
You can go up it or down it.
I do love me some business simulation games. This was one of my very first new computer games that I got for Christmas in 1994. It tasks you with building, maintaining, and managing a transport empire using roads, rail, ships, and airplanes. A game that really sucks you in the more you play it with a high skill ceiling. If you want to micromanage your empire, you will definitely get your chance. Keeping tabs of all your vehicles, routes, and deliveries gets pretty intense as your company grows, and after a while you're darting all over the place keeping up with everything. If I have a computer capable of running this game, you're very likely to see it installed. I still love it, and of course I have to mention OTTD, or Open Transport Tycoon Deluxe, which is an open source modern version of this game that'll run on just about any computer. It shows how well this game has stood the test of time that is still being developed and expanded upon. Being the bad guys has rarely been this much fun. Building upon X-Wing which came before it, TIE Fighter puts in the seat of, well, several types of TIE Fighters. Complete objectives, balance your power delivery, and shoot down some rebel scum for the glory of the Empire. What really sold me on the game in the first place was the painstaking detail LucasArts went to make this feel like a true Star Wars title. In between missions, you might be treated with cutscenes or simply a breath of data the young nerd Rick loved pouring through. And I still do. By far my favorite game in the X-Wing and TIE Fighter Flight Sim series. For the Empire.
The incoming shuttles have not identified themselves. All TIE fighters, beware of enemy shuttles.
There have been many strategy games set in space where you're tasked with managing an entire galactic empire. Master of Orion comes to mind as my normal go-to, or specifically the sequel with Mu 2 being high on my list. but one game I specifically enjoy playing on a 46 is Ascendancy. It may not be as polished as Marco Post's series, but what I really enjoy in this one is the atmosphere. It really feels alien and unique. You're still managing colonies, building fleets, and colonizing new planets to slowly grow your influence. But something with that atmosphere really drew me in, and it still does. Most definitely in the one more turn category, keeps you hooked for hours and hours and hours. A game I probably have cussed at as much as I have enjoyed. If you played any of the other XCOM games, you know the drill here. Your underpowered and underfunded ragtag team of XCOM soldiers, engineers, and scientists have to fend off an alien invasion force slowly but surely. You do this by building your base, intercepting UFOs, and taking out some aliens in the process. Research their remains or the captured components to expand your arsenal, making more options available for you on the next mission. The main point with Terror from the Deep is that it's, set mostly underwater with a distinct Lovecraft style to it. The unnerving atmosphere that comes with that, I think, is unmatched from the other games in the series. Like most XCOM titles, it's also pretty dang hard and may have you screaming at your monitor asking how someone can miss a shot at point-blank range. Still, I wouldn't have it any other way. It may not be the first game you go to when you think of 46 and first-person shooters, but the very specific reason for me is that one of my first magazine cover CDs I got came with the shareware version of Heretic. I had played Doom, which was awesome, but the dark fantasy atmosphere felt amazing, and I played it through time and time again. To this day, when I want to test out on my 46 or just run around and kick some medieval butt, I go to Heretic. It struggles a fair amount in busy areas and can definitely benefit from a faster machine, but it feels like it's such an authentic experience. So, there we have it. A list of 10 games I loved and I still love to play on my 46. Again, this isn't a definitive list, and I keep in mind it's definitely not a top list. Just games that I enjoy and I think are solid picks for any 46. Arguably, you can play all these several even better on a Pentium class machine, but I think it misses the point. The 46 was a revelation and for me really embodies that early to mid-90s PC gaming era. A Pentium may play these games the way your brain remembers it, but the 46 plays them like they actually ran. Anyway, if you watched all the way to the end, let me know how you like this list. I prefer to have it be focused on a type of machine rather than a year, but let me know in the comments if you enjoyed this format or not, and I may make more of them. And absolutely leave a comment if you played any of these games or have other games you enjoyed and still enjoy on a 46. I'd love to hear your own experiences with this era of computing and the games you played. And that will do it for this video, I think. As always, thank you very much for watching, and until next time. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to check out some of my other ones. I cover a wide range of retro topics. You can find me on social media and on my website at ricksrandomretro.com. If you want to catch me live, be sure to tune in on Thursdays at 8:45 p.m. Central. See you next time.